Hey guys, so let's talk about visual perception. I've been talking about this a lot in my recent videos, and it's just something really basic and fundamental to life, but it takes a little bit of thought. Why? Because a lot of things we get told, right? We get told from school, we get told from older people, we get told from friends, we get told from family, the government, and we have to discern between what is truth and what is lie in all of this. And it all comes down to the shape of the earth at the end also, because there can only be one truth, right? Even though you have your truth, I have my truth, there can only be one truth in heaven. And if your truth is, for example, the globe, and that is your truth, because you believe in that, according to certain arguments, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the eternal truth of God, okay, how things truly are. And then there's flat earth, that would be my truth or other people's truth, according to certain arguments. And then you still can say, yeah, but there is God's truth, right? What do I know? But for my part, in my life, I really believe that the earth is flat. And there are certain visual laws, and yeah, due to your mechanical eye, your visual perception, how you can understand flat earth once you also let go of the globe. You don't need to, if you're, for example, you believe in the ball earth. I don't know, my followers, most of them, I think they are on board with the flat earth, but maybe there might be some of you doubting these theories, or they're just interested, I don't know. But what I'm trying to explain is, you don't need to completely overthrow your belief system within a day, right? Let it sink in, like listen to the people, what they have to say, and then let it sink for a while, a few days, weeks, years, maybe even sometimes it takes, for truth to be revealed. Once you think of other things where you were lied to and then truth was revealed to you, where other people were telling you the truth, but you wouldn't even believe it because you were so convinced about something else. And then you think back, once the truth is being revealed, then you think back to these people, right? They were actually right. And who knows what's gonna happen, Maybe flat earth is completely wrong. But as far as I know, and what I do also, studying visual perception, for myself especially, trying to study perspective, I am also a person that comes a lot through the visual world. Whenever there is something to memorize or anything, it's I would do that through images. And I mean, it's not just me, there are certain techniques, that how people remember things, for example, and some they remember more like words, what was spoken in the past, and others, they remember more images from the past. It all depends on what sense you rely on the most, I guess. And so since I rely a lot on perception with the eye, I also analyze it a lot. So to get it right, to think about truth and lie. And this is just a little lead up to what I'm kind of repeating again here, is this kind of hamster wheel that we're living in, or that we're walking inside, and it's just a analogy again. It's not really how it is. It's just to visualize what's going on with your visual perception. So you have this hamster wheel, right? And the hamster is running in this wheel, basically not going anywhere, but he keeps turning this wheel underneath his feet. And if you would put some images at one point of the track, then these images would repeat, right? Because it's a circle. And the hamster might actually think that he's going somewhere, just because this image keeps changing, right? Like when we walk through the world, and let's say you walk 10 miles ahead, and then the graphics change, right? Different things will come to you. Like before, maybe there was some kind of city scenery, and then you walk outside the city, and all of a sudden you stand in the middle of the woods, or in the middle of the meadows. Very basic. But this is how you can think of this perception, this hamster wheel that I'm talking about. So you have actually two of them, not just the one that you're within, but also the one you're walking on, which creates your visual perception, the illusion of walking through space, so to say. So you have this upper bubble or circle, which I would call the heavens right now, and then you have this lower circle, which I painted now in green, depicting the earth, so to say. And this is all just imagery. This is not how it actually is, right? It's a perfected or an idealized way of portraying what's going on with your visual perception, just to be clear here. So then I blurred it out a little bit so you can actually see the lines where they cross each other, these two circles. And so there's a meeting point, right, where, for example, the ocean meets with the sky. There's the horizon line, okay? And ocean has a water level, okay? So this already indicates that something is flat here. So when you put Adam and Eve here on the bottom of the heavenly circle, so to say, you get this. And obviously he's walking on a flat earth, as well as Eve, and this should portray this flat earth surface that we're walking on. And then you have eye level, which is parallel to the flat earth you're walking on. And this eye level meets in the same point where the horizon is, where the skies meet with the earth, or with the water on earth, which is a level, okay? But when you look at the horizon, it looks like anything that goes away from you, the earth is like bending upwards towards the horizon. Right? So if you, for example, the truth is, if you would follow that flat line on your feet, that's where you would go. But the perceived reality is this part that is bending upwards from the upper circle until the horizon, okay? Until your eye level. And you can't look any further than that because that's how your eyes are built. You can't zoom in. You have a certain range, a certain distance you can look into. And this is set. You can't change it unless you actually have eye transplants or something, which might even come in the future. How horrifying, but people will do that, I think, like where they can zoom with their eyes into landscapes or something, because technology basically makes it possible by then. And so you have this, and you can see then that the circle from the heaven actually continues to be a circle, right? So there is an angle from the horizon line, your eye level, and then there's a kind of an angle until it goes back on the other side, and then there's the same angle, kind of. And this is how you get the different angles of the moon phases. From east to west, for example, if you're in Europe or North America, you get the moon rise and the moon set from east to west, and at the edges, the moon isn't actually upright. It's kind of like what would you call it? Steep, right? Or yeah, it's tilted to the side, and this is the reason why, because your perception actually tilts that moon, The moon isn't tilted in reality. The moon has a level just as the earth, just as your eye level, but due to your perception, as you can see in this imagery, the moon is tilted on the edges. At the east, it's tilting towards the east. In the west, it's tilting towards the west. And obviously, if the moon is above your head and you're looking right at it, like the sunlight of the moon, it's straight, right? That's the reality of it, basically. That's the only time you see that the moon has a level, because the rest is moving away from you, from your center point, okay, of your perception. You're not traveling with the moon, because you're not as fast. You would maybe stay in one position and looking at the night sky, and this is what's happening. The moon is passing by on a level, and this is why it's tilting from one side to the other during the night, okay? And then you can also understand that you will always find self during the night when you have like a moon crescent or the half moon. You will always find self, from wherever you are, or obviously if you're past the equator, you would always find north. But if you're in Europe, for example, the moment you see that you witness the moon being straight, right, being 90 degrees upright, that's where if you want to go to the south, that's where you would go to, that's where you would head to, in that moment, and okay, I gotta go this direction, and then you go a few miles, let's say you're on a camping trip or something, off-road wild trip, and you have nothing with you, no phone, nothing, no maps. This is how you can navigate, and you walk a few miles, and then you would end up at some place, and then wait until the next moon comes along, and then you know again more or less yourself, right? It's just a little trick how all of this works. And then there's a little animation also of the moon where you can slightly see the tilt at the end of the edge. It's not the best video because I didn't find anything where you would have a panoramic view, but you can just do it for yourself. Just take one full night time for yourself and just witness the moon going from east to west, like the whole range, and how it's tilting. And then imagine that it's actually not because the earth is rotating, but because the moon is circling on a level above flat earth. Okay, just do it for once and you might come to some similar conclusions here. And which gets me then back, you know, you have those two circles, and it gets me back to the MasterCard, which I already showed you, the connections to the Vesica Pisces, and they call it also psychogeometry. I believe that I know that this is where it comes from, basically. This is the way we perceive the world. Here you can see the eye in the middle, like this middle part, that's our perception, right? The green part, we have those two things, the heavens and the earth, and the green part is basically what we're witnessing every day. And then you get also this fish, and this is how Jesus was portrayed in some churches with the same symbology, this almond shape stemming from those two circles when you extract those lines. And then in marriage you have the similar symbolism being used, the two rings, you know, man and woman married in heaven, you know. And before you had this heavenly circle, and then you had this earthly circle, and then sometimes you say the Father in heaven and the Mother earth, right? Mother on earth. So you have those two things again married together, and this creates life. You know, you need the Father and you need the Mother to create new life, to create a new to make a child, create new life. And then there's a little animation I did on the Vitruvian Man as well, showing you again the connections between those two circles when you put the squares in which the Vitruvian Man is standing inside, you put them head to head against each other, you get the same symbolism. I'm blurring it out a little bit so you get the image. Basically your perception, right? Your range also. I mean, you can't grab anything further than what you can touch with your hands, for example. So as long as you have, if you just let's Let's think about this. If you just see something that is outside of your range of your arms, for example, you could consider it as not real, because the only time you can consider something real is when you have more than one evidence, right? If you just see something that is far away, and you need something else to confirm that it's actually there. So this would be your arms, right? So your range is actually just the way your arms and your feet and legs can grab things, and then what you see within this range, and you can actually grab it and feel it, then this is your reality, right? This is real. You can feel these things, and there is evidence. This is basically your complete truth. The only time everything within your perception is reachable, right? Anything that is further than that is already irrational in a way, right? Although it could be there in reality, right? But like the only real truth that you can ever perceive is within your range of your senses. Also your ears, or the taste, your smell. You won't smell anything that is 10 miles away, you know. You will maybe smell your neighbor's barbecue or something, and that's within your truth, right? Your reality. And then you can go over there and check if he's actually having a barbecue, and then he might invite you even. So that's just a side note. And then you have again this little animation where I overlapped the MasterCard with this Vitruvian Man in another image, just to show you the resemblance again from what I showed you before with the heavens and the earth, and the eye level and ground level, which is a flat level again. And there's another demonstration of this on Google Maps. You can see the full range of your visual perception in the end, until the horizon, in a round view. And that's it. I hope you can take something away from it. And you might just stay open, you know, with your mind. If you believe in the globe or in the ball earth, then just try to forget it for once, and really assume that you're believing in something else, and that you believe that flat earth is true. Just do it in your mind. You don't have to change your whole personality, because I know that most of the time people are just scared to lose their egos, their selves, you know, with which they created, what they think of themselves, right? And the globe, the ball earth, has a lot to do with how they think of themselves. Like, as I told you in another video, when they go into an airplane, they actually believe they go around the ball earth, you know, and it takes a lot to lose this, so to say, right? And that's why Jesus also said, if you lose your life, you will win it. If you lose your life for me, for Jesus, for the truth, then you will actually win it, you know, you will have it. You will have your life. And sometimes people, they are so stuck within the lies that they grew up with, that they fear to lose these anything that comes with the globe. There are lots of arguments that come with the globe theory, such as Big Bang theory, gravity, all those things that tie into evolutionism and all the science, and well, the thing is that all the science is based upon truth, right? All the science we work with is based upon truth, and that is because it works. If you have 1 plus 1 is 2, we can build airplanes because it works, and why does it work? Because it's the truth. But the truth is actually a flat earth, right? So anything that works according to the flat earth and according to actual science and physics comes from a flat earth. It does not come from a globe, from a ball. Anything, if you consider rotation and stuff, but I don't want to get into this all into this now. But if you consider all these physical things and laws, the ball earth doesn't make any sense. On the other hand, if you consider a flat earth, all the science comes from there, then imagine how much power you have once you know the truth about the shape of the earth, and then you have the correct method to apply to actual physics, and it completely opens your mind up to a new understanding of the world and how actually science works, how physics works, how chemistry and everything actually works once you have the correct method, so to say, to work with, and it is power, and imagine what power you would have if you would tell everyone a wrong method, and they go around the earth using that wrong method all the time, and that's why they actually are lost, right? They can't come to their own conclusions that much because they think they are howling through space, through endless space and all, like there are thousands of other galaxies out there and stuff. So if that method is already false, how would you come to correct conclusions with God, the way it actually is, right? Because there is a creator and God created everything. So how can you work within God's laws if you actually believe in something else? You know what I mean? And this is the whole game, basically. Satan's game, he wants you to believe in his laws. So you're working within his laws, yet Satan himself works within God's laws, because he can't work within anything else than what God has created, right? But within this creation, Satan is the one that's basically deceiving everyone, so they can't, they don't basically understand God, and that leads them astray. They don't understand their own reality. They don't understand their basic nature, the truth, right? And the truth is with God. It's really that simple in the end. But it's not so simple to see through the deceptions and discern between truth and lie. This takes experience, studying, and I don't know, probably also certain spiritual capacities. Not everyone was given this kind of authority also. I truly believe that God gives and takes, right? So whatever you have, it was given to you by God. And whatever you don't have, God hasn't given you. It's that simple. And if you can discern between lie and truth, it's a gift from God, it's discernment. And if you can see through the illusions. And the visual world we live in, which is very prominent, if you think about advertising, for example, it's mostly visual. How people are baited into consume, for example, or even supermarkets, they use this concept. They only provide the best looking fruits because people will buy them, although other fruits would be just as good. But people will buy or pay more, I guess, if it's also looking good and fresh. And there's already a lot of deception within the visual world. That's what I'm trying to say here. And I'm gonna end this talk now. And hear from you, see you. Feel free to comment. I don't get many comments here, but it would also be nice for me to have a little interaction once in a while. So I don't feel like just talking to a wall or something,